I don't know if you can hear the oldies music that we're playing in the background, but it's one of my favorites. Hello, everybody. How are you? It is Wednesday, December 20th. It is the old ex-husband's birthday. It's like this date rolls around, and even though we've both moved on with our lives, I still remember. It's like that date is just, kind of branded in my mind that this is always that day. So happy birthday to him, the father of my lovely children. Well, at least two of them. How are you, everyone? I know that it is just the craziest time of year right now. So if you're gathering here with me and not off running around with buying presents or still baking cookies or, whatever you might be doing, if you're gathered here to take a few minutes to just breathe and gather your thoughts, well, hats off to you. I'm really glad. I'm glad that you're here with me. I'm wearing my Christmas pajamas. Yes, I'm wearing my Christmas pajamas because they make me happy. And I know it's not quite Christmas yet, but they're comfy and soft and happy. And so I am wearing them today because, it's funny. I was kind of holding off, I was holding off until Christmas. And I know there is something about that, holding off Christmas time, gifting thing. I get it. But there's also a part of me that goes, but it's something you could enjoy like right now. It would bring you great joy right now. And I'm sorry, but some of the red and white and green magic sort of loses its flair with me just as soon as Christmas is over. It's like just as soon as Christmas is over, the bright red and greens and bows and plaids and all that stuff that I love can just go right on out the door. It's time for it's time for other colors to come back in. But I thought I would wear these because it is making me happy. It's making me happy. And I've been noticing online, I don't do a lot of talking out there. I just, for the first many years of Facebook and when the Purple Door first got its start, I was out there, daily, several times a day, just offering witchcraft advice and doing, my thing. But I find myself, just more about I'm an observer now more than I am out there sharing away on Facebook. I just don't find myself doing it. And it's great because I've got folks in my life that are part of my vibe tribe, part of the Purple Door community that see things very similarly to me. And they have picked up where I've kind of, it's not like I've left off. I mean, I'm still out here doing this, aren't I? But I'm just not keeping up with the memes and the posts and the things. I just, I just need a break. I've taken a break for a year or two now. But time for an ebb and flow with all things. But what I was going to say is that I've noticed quite a few of you are trying to choose happy. I've noticed it in some of your comments online, in some of your interactions with me. I'm proud of you for that because it isn't always easy to wake up on the wrong side of the bed and choose to cross over to the other side of the bed. Hey, Patience! Good to see you here, sister. It isn't always easy to make that choice. I mean, hell, sometimes I wake up grumpy, and you know what? It's like some days grumpy just feels good. I don't understand it. I don't recommend it because, but sometimes I find myself in this little, hi kitty kitty, in this little grumpy trap, like where I just feel, whatever, whoever kind of comes my way, I'm just in a mood. And sometimes it feels good to be in a mood. And I know that seems weird. Like, how could you say that, Gussie? How could it feel good to be grumpy or angry or any of those like negative emotions that we attach to it? But see, here's the thing. We are not created to be unhappy all the time. Nor are we created to be, happy all the time. We're created right now in this realm to find our balance between the two. So if you find yourself kind of in the unhappy category most of the time, you need to bring things back into balance and find things that do bring you more joy, do allow you to choose happy on a more frequent basis. Things that are tiny, things that you might not even realize bring you joy. Like, I'll be honest, there's a book. There's a table next to me. Here's the table sitting right next to me. It's what I have my phone stand sitting on, and my tarot cards here, and my tea, my glasses. And on the bottom of this table is a lower shelf. And on top of that shelf sits a book. And on top of that book sits Kleenex, because, I got to keep tissues around. And that book was here when we moved in, and I've left it there because it's actually a book that I remember reading. I remember reading this book when I was a much younger woman, and it made a lot of sense then to me. It makes a lot of sense to me now, and I'll show you what it is. Actually, it's an older book, but it just makes so much sense. And you've heard me talk about these principles in this book before, but it's called Simple Abundance. Some of you might remember this book. As a matter of fact, did I give this to her? I did. I gifted this to my sister Christine in 1998. And I didn't realize I was the one that gave it to her, but it's sitting down here, and it makes me happy that it's there. Every time I look down there and I see that little book, it gives me a little bit of a happy zing, And sometimes we have to search for those happy zings. Sometimes you don't even realize that they're happening right in front of you. Like sometimes one of the common ones that I like to kind of wake up to, and I don't mean wake up in the sense of like in the morning waking up. Boy, look at some of these names. I love all of you folks out here. Claudia, it's so good to have you. Annette, I'm glad to have you here. It's just wonderful to have folks join in that, I love, whose names I haven't seen for a minute. Of course, all the other folks that are here that join me every day, I love that too. I forgot to tell you, Grim is not here because he's under the weather, but I'm sure you're still watching, aren't you, love? Yeah. He's still with us. He's just not going to be connecting verbally. And I know I'm bouncing all over the place. Hell, I'll be honest. This week is so busy that I'm having a hard time staying focused on what it is that I'm supposed to get finished. I mean, it's like I've got so many things out in front of me, including a ritual on Friday night, that I just keep like my head is a little bit spinny on this particular holiday. And I'm sure a lot of you are also feeling that way. So when you're finding yourself feeling distressed or unfocused or whatever, look for those moments. I call them anchor moments, right? Anchor points. Look around your room, look around the space that you are, and find the things that make you happy. Let your eye kind of settle on something that makes you happy. I see things around me all of the time because I'm a visual person. So looking at visually appealing things, whether it be the shape or color or texture of something, or the way the picture is arranged on the wall and the angle the lamp is situated according to that picture. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that makes me happy. Hearing my children's voice makes me happy. The little kitty cat named Boog, when he walks through, he likes to chatter a lot. That makes me happy. Things like that. You need to look around and find all those little blessings for yourself. Because on dark days when things don't seem to really want to get better, the only one that can really control it is you. I said this earlier today on the Share Something Magical chat group that's in the Purple Door. Hi, Chris Coon. You made incense cones? That's cool. We've made incense beads before, but never the cones. I'd love to hear your process for that. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, no. All I can think about are incense cones. Choosing happy. Feeling ungrounded. Lots of things happening. Wow. Oh, yes. I was in the Share Something Magical chat today, and someone asked for, some energy, some blessings for, she had just lost a job, and so she was asking for some blessings and whatnot. And I know people don't like to hear this because they want the magical pill. They want me to say love and light and blessings and magical unicorns and sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. That's what they want me to say. And indeed, there was a time in my witch life, I was going to say magical witchy life, that I did sprinkle a lot of that stuff out there. I mean, I was as love and light as the next witch in the 90s. With a little bit of a dark twist. That's always been who I am. But that's another story for another day. But, a lot of people, they seek outside help, trying to find, the answer to their aches, their pains, their worries, their stress. We're always looking outside of ourselves, as if looking outside of ourselves is where the answer is found. And the truth of it is, when it comes to energy, when it comes to choosing happy or turning things around for yourself, really the only person that can do it, I mean, all right. There might be something, your significant other, spouse or whatever comes over, or maybe your mom or whoever comes over with a great big surprise because you've been feeling down for a couple of days and you get to go to some concert or some outing or something that you've been wanting to do. I mean, there are exceptions to the rule, okay? I'm not saying the only way to get happy is through yourself, but I will say this. That concert or wherever that they take you to for the night or the day or whatever, that little journey that kind of turned your opinion around, the feelings that you were having before that major shift are probably not gone. Those sad emotions that you had that put you in that down space in the first place are probably tucked away back there somewhere. Somebody else comes along and does something nice for you and it turns it around for a couple of hours, couple of days. But generally, we go right back to square one with the emotional part of it, unless we switch it ourselves. And when you start looking around for the small things, it doesn't always have to be these big monumental happy moments that, transcend everything. And they're not all these major league moments. Some of them are the tiniest things, like that little book underneath the table. That little book changed my life years and years ago. And it makes me happy when I see it there, even if I don't consciously always say, oh, there's the book. But when my eye falls to rest on that spot, it's like one of the places that my eye will search out to see, is the book still there? The book's still there. It's not easy to look for the happy thoughts. It isn't always. Sometimes it's a challenge, and sometimes you might be in such a froth about whatever it is that's going on that you might say, fuck happy. I don't want to be happy. This is what it is. And hi, Skeleton Key Network. Good to see you. Hello, hello. Oh, what was I saying? Oh, yes. I was saying that in those moments when you feel like saying, you know, fuck that, I don't want to be happy, and this, it is what it is, and I'm just miserable. You know, there is something, and people don't like it when I say this either, but there is something that you are getting out of that sadness, that despair, that anger. There is something that you are getting out of it, or you wouldn't continue it. Ooh, I know when I say things like that, people, like, it doesn't always sink in. Sometimes it takes a few times hearing it or understanding it, or even like a couple days from now, you might go, aha, I think I know what Gussie meant now. I know that sometimes I say things that kind of hit in an uncomfortable way, but I'm willing to do that with you because, you know, we're all in this together, and we're all trying to just kind of, you know, get through this as best as we can with as few shadow boxes and emotional baggage that we can. You know, we're all going through these stages of enlightenment, and we're all at different stages of it. But still, there are some commonalities within that. And learning to lean on each other and understand that you're not alone, that there are other people that are going through, you know, extreme fatigue, brain fog, memory loss, problems with their digestive system, problems with an erratic heartbeat, weird headaches that come and go, nausea that comes and goes. These are all like things that a lot of us have in common that I know has to do with much more than just this is the lot in life that we were given. Oh. Some of us are still so defined by the tragedies in their lives. It's like, I've told you before, when I was a younger woman, my parents died when I was quite young, and I didn't do it consciously. It isn't like I had a checklist of things in my head that I was consciously aware of that I wanted to check off as I met new people, you know. But one of the things that I noticed after a while, after a couple decades actually, is that I would meet a new person and we would get to know each other a little bit, and before you know it, I'm telling them the sad story about my parents dying. It's like that part of me was so out in front. That emotionality behind it all was what was driving my core. It was part of, it was like one of the horses in a runaway chariot, you know, and it was just one of those things that I would, before I knew it, I was telling people that probably didn't even care that my parents had died, but there was an emotional need that I had for these people to know that part of me, that sadness about me. And now that I'm older, it's like, I'm glad that some of my good friends know that part of me, but it used to be such a big part of who I was on the daily, that now I'll go months, and I know that seems crazy, but months where I have hardly given it much thought now. It isn't that I don't love my parents or appreciate them. As a matter of fact, I work with their energy quite often. They're on my ancestor altar, and I work with them a lot, but I don't take myself to that sad space anymore, because A, they're not there. B, they would rather me move up and beyond and forward and out of that sad space. They would rather me talk about something happy with friends that I run into or new acquaintances that I make. My parents don't want their deaths to be the defining factor in my life, or one of them. And yes, it did have a big impact on me, but I can't let that drive who I am. And I know for some of you this is hitting home a little bit, and I hope that it, strikes where it needs to, and that the words that you need to hear are heard clearly and with understanding. Many spirits, when they cross over, some of them have their own learning to do. Some of them kind of move on into that connection with the divine. Not everyone does right away. That's just the thing. It's a continuum. It is a spectrum of spirituality. It is not just, one size fits all. That's why Christianity, some of the concepts of it are beautiful. Some of the concepts of it, like love your neighbor or whatever, open love and communication. Some of the concepts of it are quite beautiful and profound, and they're not all that different from other beautiful and profound tenets of other religions. I'm hearing questions out there about how to contact your ancestors, because some of you that are kind of new don't exactly know how to do that. And there really isn't much to it other than when you're in a meditative space, when you have yourself a circle cast where you are focused and attuned to not only your space and what's going on around you, but connected to the divine. When you've called in the quarters and you are connected to your higher self and all aspects therein, you can invite your ancestors to that space with you. You can invite them to join with you there, those that are there for your utmost and highest good. Now remember, that's not always just the happy, touchy-feely ones that you remember from your childhood, grandma and grandpa that always had the cookie jar filled or took you on long walks or whatever. It's not always just those sunshiny ones. Sometimes it is the ancestors that we never knew that still have a lesson to share with us. You remember, we are here because of them. Because of their life lessons and choices, we are here. If they had made other choices and other lessons to learn, we would not be here who we are right now today. And even if you're not completely happy with yourself, it's reason to celebrate. Because the Earth's population has dwindled down to a very small amount of people several times now. And the mere fact that you're still here living and breathing and part of the whole thing means your ancestors were some tough cookies, and you should be proud of that. But like I said, it's not always the happy, goodly ones that you connect with. Sometimes it's the assholes that you think, you'd rather not ever encounter again. But remember, when they cross over and connect with spirit, they're not just who they were here on the earth plane anymore. Now, there are times when spirits kind of get stuck and don't want to move onward. They kind of stay in their own like cycled loop. And although we think that's unfortunate and sad, we've got to remember that not all spirits, we just because we perceive it as a stuck, it's not necessarily that they're stuck. They might be repeating it because they enjoy it. They might be repeating it because there's a lesson that they still need to learn. They might still be repeating something because there are any number of things, really. So when I hear about people going in and trying to like clear spirits out of spaces and send them to the light and whatnot, I always remember I can suggest that to them, but it really is their free will to move on or close a chapter or leave a building or to move into the next realm of their spiritual development. So some of them do get hung up, and those are the ghosts that you typically find that are kind of, the poltergeisty kind, the tricksters, the ones that are haunting a location. I don't know why I got onto that. Because we were talking about connecting with our ancestors. Oh, that's right. But when we cross over, when we get to the point that we can, and don't forget, time is different there. So even though it might be 4 years here, it could be 40 years there, or 4 seconds. It really depends on the person's experience. And that's difficult for us to perceive because we're here in this linear realm right now where things are kind of, they move forward every day, 9 to 5 kind of thing, 24-hour clock. But that's not always how it is in other realms. Once they cross over into that realm where they connect with their higher self and the divine power, they are no longer that asshole vibration that they were here on earth. They connect with all of the parts of themselves, every past life they have ever been. They connect with their soul family, and they return to help guide us through so that we don't make the same mistakes. And once they know that we've, kind of learned our lesson and can move on past it, well, then they kind of step back for a while and might be kind of quiet. I've noticed through the years that my ancestors, just like the animal, spirit animals that I work with, my totem animals, I have like my top 3, but sometimes there's one that will really take front seat, like driver's seat. And I'll work with that animal's energy for a while, and then I'll notice that it kind of backs away, and then suddenly I have another kind of animal energy that I'm working with. And it's kind of like that with my ancestors as well. I don't always feel the full array of them standing around me. Sometimes I feel certain ones a little more closer than others. Like my Aunt Susie, who I call Grandma Susie, she stands fairly close to me, as does my grandmother from my father's side of the family. She stands rather close to me. I do feel them frequently, but that shifts as well. So, can the ancestors ever be in a bad space and choose not to continue elevating? We don't choose not to continue to elevate. We are constantly looking for balance, and most of us seek happy. We are not creatures that were really truly meant to be unhappy, sorrowful, guilt-laden, heavy duty. That's why all of our creation stories, a lot of them have to do with the sun and happiness and finding peace and tranquility. That's, from heaven to El Dorado to, pick a place, Valhalla, where we're meant to go to be at peace and and joyful and happy. Most of us have that. What happens with people when they cross over, there are near realms that you go to first. The first near realm that you spend some time in is where you kind of get to do some of the things you didn't get to do while you were alive. Some of the things kind of bucket listy. You get to kind of go around and do some of those things. But some people, when they cross over, they have such a strong vision of heaven that they go right there. And that's kind of where they stay until they have their own, because things continue. You know, they will continue to live a life in their version of heaven, but they will continue to grow and ascend spiritually. It's not like we cap things off, but we do, I believe, die and come back. And I'm fairly certain that that isn't just a thing in this realm. So, anyways, I know I don't know if I answered that right or not, but I think so. Let me see. Lots of comments in here today, and I can't always read them all. Deb says, very happy today. My grandmother from my mom's side visited me. When I asked if I was on the right path, doing okay, she said, yes, I'm proud of you. It was amazing. That's incredible to hear. And I'm glad you said that, because you reminded me, Deb, of one of the things that I usually always remember to tell people. When you call in your ancestors and you ask them to come into your space, I like to light a candle. Shelby likes to have a cup of coffee ready. But one of the things that you need to prepare yourself for is that when you call in your ancestors and you ask a question, be ready to hear an answer and trust what you hear. So many times we don't trust what we hear. We kind of write it off as, oh, that was just my mind or whatever. But jot it all down or remember it somehow. Don't throw it away because you think it was just you interfering. Write it all down. You might be surprised at what you find, at the message that comes through. Don't scoff at what you might hear. Gotta trust. And that's trusting your intuition. Not only, the messages from the other side, but trusting yourself to be okay with, hey, I know that answer sounds a little kooky, but it also makes a lot of sense, so I'm just going to trust it. All right. I'm going to draw a card for the group today. I know we've kind of bounced around some topics. Claudia says, the lady who used to live in this apartment talks to me a great deal. I can feel her energy. As you said that, I can almost see her. I can almost see her wearing like a salmon colored suit of some sort with like, I honestly think it might be, polyester, but it's got like a little collar on it. And it might be a little jacket. I can't quite tell. Yeah, I can see her quite, yes. Was she a witch? It feels like she had some witchy qualities to her. Or something like that. She was reaching beyond the veil. All right. A card just jumped out at us. And I love it. It's the Two of Swords card. And this is the perfect card to kind of just, saddle right up next to what we were just talking about trusting yourself. A lot of times we get caught in the overthinking process. We get stuck in talking ourselves out of something when really we should sometimes just trust our gut instinct and move forward with it. Yeah, I believe she was an actress in the movies. Yes, I believe. And she smoked. But as you know, that was okay back then. And even now, it feels like she kind of presents herself with a cigarette. But I think that's because she was really happy with that time of her life. I don't mean to get, sidetracked off of this, with this storyline, but I can kind of see her. She's kind of petite. Good energy, though. Good energy. Okay, let's see. Two of Swords. Don't overthink things. Allow yourself to experience things as they come. As Claudia said, the beautiful now moments that come along, and try not to overthink it too much. When you overthink it, it kind of loses its magic. And suddenly, instead of having this magical moment, you've had a precisely controlled manifestation, yes, but you didn't really allow the universe to kind of do its thing. You tried to manipulate and control the whole process by overthinking it. And when you overthink, you overworry, and overworry means you are spending your energy in a direction that, you know what? It's not like you can really control the outcome of the situation. So why are you spending an overly abundant amount of time worrying about what's yet to come? If you know it's going to be an uncomfortable outcome, so be it. Accept that you know it's going to be an uncomfortable outcome and start working toward what comes after that outcome. Start working on your next best step. If you know that what's coming is going to be uncomfortable, start working on what's next. Don't sit there and wait for the wave to crash into you. You already know that's coming. And when you allow yourself to think and overthink and overthink and overthink and overthink, you might think that you're trying to find balance, but take it from a Libra. You can overthink yourself right into nothingness. You can't, I don't mean you're really going to disappear, but I mean, you can overthink to the point that you no longer have choices. And at some point, sometimes the universe just has to make the decision for you. But that's not the kind of universal flow that we're talking about. When we're talking about getting in the universal flow, we're talking about, instead of resisting, someone says, this happens to me quite a bit. I'll be doing shadow work with people, and they're seeking me for help with shadow work. And then when we get to a shadow, they get mad at me because they have a shadow, and it sometimes takes a while for them to walk away and process the information and realize that, there was no harm meant. It was meant to help elevate the situation. Why am I telling you that? I don't know. Tomorrow's the longest night of the year.
I wrote about that in today's Widdershins.
Did you? Grimm said he wrote about the longest night of the year in our weekly Widdershins newsletter, which, by the way, our weekly Widdershins newsletter, little plug here, is completely free, right, Grimm?
Right.
That one's completely free. You just need to go on our Open the Purple Door website, and there is a place so you can sign up for it. You got to put your birthday in there, because we do, on the Purple Door, Susan helps keep track of the birthdays, and I try to offer a birthday reading to people once a week. I do some freebies like that. Deb said she read it. It's a great article.
Awesome.
So check out the weekly Widdershins. To be honest, we try to get it out on Wednesdays, but sometimes it's Thursdays. Sometimes it's Fridays. Sometimes it's Sundays. But I don't think we've really missed a week. Maybe when I was sick. But that one, please sign up for it. It's a wealth of information. We try not to overdo your inbox other than, once a week. And it's just basically stuff going on in our world, stuff going on that we know of in the witchy world. And so that's why Grimm wrote about the solstice for today's Widdershins. How are you observing the solstice? I know that some of you were saying that You were going to have a bonfire. I think Christy Reed said she was going to have a bonfire. And Graham and I are, tomorrow night, our daughter, not missed, but our daughter, Rihanna, the older daughter, the one that studied opera in college, she was invited. She's part of a quartet, but they are she's the soprano in the quartet, and they're doing the national anthem at the Pistons game tomorrow night, Detroit Pistons. So I can't go to the Pistons game, but Grim found a way that we can listen in. And so really excited about that. So that's what we're doing on the solstice. But on the 22nd here at the old church, we're having a hot cocoa bar. And gosh, I wish you were here to join us. Hot cocoa bar with caroling. We're going to do some actual caroling. Even though there's no snow, that's okay. We won't slip that way. We won't be too cold. We're going to do cocoa and caroling, and then we're going to have a solstice ritual at the end of the evening. So we're looking forward to it, and hopefully we'll get some good photos and share a little bit of it with you. Please remember, if you're looking for a witch hat like this one, or we've got some handmade soaps. We've got some of Siege's jewelry up there. We are adding new things all the time. There's wands. There's a few other things we're just kind of adding in as we go. It takes us a while because Grim and I, we're in the timey-wimey too. But check out Open the Purple Door. You can also get a reading there. And there's a place for a gift certificate. So give the gift of magic if you'd like to gift someone you know and love a reading. We can do 15 minutes or half an hour, and you can find that gift certificate on the website. So check it out. It's not too late. Still, Christmas is right around the corner. Don't forget to subscribe to the 420 e-zine either, because that would mean a lot to us. We are really, really trying hard to get the word out there. We're trying to get our e-zine out there. We don't do a lot of tremendous amount of advertising. It's all word of mouth, guerrilla marketing with you guys. So please, if you have a chance, if you'd like to see a copy of the e-zine, let me know, or Grim know, and we can get you a copy of it so you can take a browse through it and see if it's something you're interested in. But please do subscribe. It's only $4.20 a month, and it goes toward helping us keep doing these things. And as you can see, I'm all chatty because I feel, as long as our needs are met, I could do this all day. My passion is to help you. My passion is to shadow walk and to do this with people that need a little guidance. That's what I love to do. And when we have financial support to do so, that's my job, right? So then it makes it easier. It just makes it so much easier when I don't have to always feel like I'm struggling every second. And I know that a lot of you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's why we try to keep our costs down. Remember tonight at 9, there is our Pause for Peace. That doesn't cost a thing. It's just a matter of you joining in at your time, 9 p.m., where we pause for a few minutes. It's nothing official that we do online, although I believe there is a video. You can go out and kind of tune into that. Grim usually likes to make a meditation video to go along with it. But take a look. Take a moment to pause at 9 p.m. Bless you, love. Send out peaceful, healing, harmonious, loving energy out into the world. Take some good, deep, healing breaths for yourself. Let go of what you no longer need. And send out goodwill into the world, 9 p.m. If enough of us do that, we are shining the light, baby. We are shining the light. And I can feel it. And the more of us that do it, the more of us that have that intention and then follow through with the action, the better. And if you do pause for peace at 9 p.m., if you don't mind, go to the Purple Door, and Susan always has a post up at around 9 p.m.-ish, and you can go in there and say what time you paused, or that you paused, or just put some stars or something to let us know that you participated, because that is Yeah, it's part of the algorithm on Facebook or Meta, but it's also part of this algorithm. It's part of this liminal space that we build together. It's part of our purple energy wave that we've created together. And I like to know who's joining in. So please. All right, last thing I'm going to say is the 28th of this month, we are doing a Purple Door Witch Wave, that very energy that I was just talking about. Grim and I do a meditative video and bring a candle and some paper and a pencil or pen, something to write with. You never know what we're going to get up to, but that's the 28th of the month at 9 p.m. That one's at 9 p.m. We do it later so some of our West Coasties can join us. And that's that. All right, I think that is enough for now. I think that's enough for now. I'm almost out of time. That's our theme for the month, the alchemy of time. Magic never ceases to amaze me. Stay magical, y'all.